Hi, it's Jaras and Jovan, and we're back with another week of Hip Hop and Enterprise. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with the CEO and co-founder of custom menswear line, Garçon Couture, Mr. Ilbert Sanchez. How are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you for having me, and I'm very excited to be here. How's it going?
I'm excited for you to be here. We do have history, and just knowing you from college and just seeing your grind in fashion, knowing that that's your passion and something that you really spoke into existence. I'm really just proud to see your growth.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been just a one day at a time and just keeping in faith, as obstacles come in front of us.
That's right. And so what can you say about where Garçon Couture is today and where it's going?
Where Garcon Couture today is, we're at a humbling stage, especially after navigating through the pandemic at the early stages. We closed for about 6 months in our Miami and New York locations. But we were able to actually understand what were our weaknesses, what were our strengths immediately, during the pandemic. So right now we're at a good place. We're growing, we're scaling correctly. And what's in front of us is more exposure, right? And continuing to break the parameters of what is fashion today in the fashion industry. We're putting emphasis on the African diaspora, and we're also just elevating men and women's wear when it comes to suiting and tuxedos. We're taking things to the next level.
Oh my gosh, look at you, sounding real distinguished over there. I'm here for all of it. So now take us back to the day you decided to launch Garçon Couture. Where were you and your business partner, your co-founder? When did you how did you make that decision?
So first, my business partner, Gilly, he's Haitian, of Haitian descent, and I'm Honduran. And we were college roommates, but we've always had these same dynamics when it comes to upbringings. Our cultures are so similar, and we always had a passion for fashion. For me, I was more into the streetwear, and I was more into the graphic design. He was really into the fine menswear and being able to look at the details. So once we went to different schools after we graduated from our first schools, we kept in contact. And several years later, we were like, there's something missing in the industry of fashion. There's something that we don't see that we need. And we found what is today Garcon Couture, right? And we were like, we need to find something that's going to be able to dress the people who look like us and make them look amazing and well. We have this stigma of Black men that they only wear suits, in funerals and court dates, right. And we wanted to be able to actually provide a different option and change the narrative, being able to actually make us feel amazing and empowered with everything that we touch and do.
Right. I would definitely say, growing up in New York City, when I, becoming a part of the college scene, the Greek life college scene, yeah. And, that's where you started to get introduced to seeing men or young men choosing to wear a suit, but you just always elevated it, always just it would be a bunch of dudes wearing suits, but Ilbert's suit was just ooh, So when it was when you started Garçon Couture, for us that knew you locally, it was an instant, oh, sold, But now take us back to the brand awareness development, how you started to get people to know Garçon Couture.
Repetition, right? In our minds, we have to look at something 8-9 times before we decide if we're actually going to purchase it. So it was more so word of mouth, social media. My fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi, definitely held it down. They were one of my first clients to just trusting within me to be able to provide them with a suit for their birthday, for weddings, and I think the word of mouth was definitely the gift for us at the time, where it's people were just talking about us. The first alarm for us was when we dressed McLaughlin at the Emmys and at the GQ Awards, and he got best dressed, all the articles, Vogue, Essence, TV, People Magazine were all speaking about what he wore next to his castmates, and Garçon Couture was on his back. So that's when the phone really started to ring. And that's when we were like, there's no looking back now.
Yes. So now, like you said, you're from Honduras. Gilly, your business partner, is from Haiti. Did entrepreneurship run in either of your families?
For me, my grandfather definitely was like an entrepreneur. He's had a lot of just business, business investments from when I can remember, and then the same for Gilly. But I think we were the first ones in fashion, like fashion entrepreneurs, where we were able to actually stop what we were doing and like not going with what everyone else is doing, because I went to school for graphic design. I went to FIT, and I was like, you know what? I was in the fashion industry. I was in the corporate America for about 7-8 years, and I quit my job to run, the company full time. So it's more so like taking a risk, and Gilly, he quit his job in 2018, and he was like, you know what? He's going to run Garcon Couture full time at Miami at the time, So it's taking risks, but being able to change the narrative within our generations.
Okay, you touch on so many things, and then all these questions pop into my mind. But okay, so I remember that you were working as a graphic designer. Now you're in fashion. How seamless is that process of transitioning your skill, just in general as an artist, into fashion?
I think ever since I started going to FIT, I think fashion and art is all the same. I still, when I look at someone, when I'm consulting someone, I see them as a blank canvas. And as they start speaking and as they start telling me what is it that they're looking for, I start painting them. I start drawing them. I start digitizing them in my mind. I look at fabric and I look at what they want and like what the end goal is, and I'll start to paint them that vividly. For me, that's art. And so it wasn't really much a big change. It was more so of like understanding body types, and what fabrics work with who, and then for what scenario and location. So that was like one of the biggest learning curves for me. But when it came to the aesthetics and the visuals of an artwork, I put it together with the piece that I'm going to put you in.
Love it. And upon launch, were there any challenges that you faced with the production process?
Yeah, it was challenges was every single day, even to this day. It took us a while to actually find the greater part of manufacturers, right? I think our manufacturers right now are on point. There's always room for growth, right? But for us, when we started, my business partner had a lot of trial and errors. We had a lot of trial and errors, just finding the correct manufacturers, connecting with the growth of the company, but also understanding the operations, being able to actually scale correctly, being able to give the client a good experience, so there was a lot of trial and errors, but also we don't have investors, right? We didn't have investors. We don't have no one to back us. So everything has been from scratch. We do have, when we first started, when I quit my job and I started to actually find a location in the middle of the city, because we're in Grand Central, the Grand Central area, I actually asked like 3 or 4 of my friends if I could borrow some money to help, pay for the upfront of the rent, so we paid them right away. But besides that, we don't have no type of investors. Everything has been extremely from scratch.
So take us down that lane of, choosing, is it a choice of you not having investors, or, how do you feel about having an investor?
It's, being Honduran or being Haitian, the credit cards and loaning, we already have school loans, so it could be extremely intimidating. At the time, we didn't have any guidance when it came to finances at that level. We didn't want to sign our lives away, being able to, having to owe somebody so much money, and, you hear these nightmares in media and for music, or they sign 360 deals, and we didn't want to be in that type of situation. So we were like, listen, we're going to take this literally one day at a time. We're going to use our assets when it came to our friends, our families, anybody we know in these industries, but we're going to take it literally one day at a time and then grow from there. And this was not overnight. Everything that you see now has been from the work that we've done behind the scenes throughout the years, even before we launched.
Right. Very gradual, steady continued grind to the progress that you have today. So now you mentioned when you dressed Caleb McCullough, I always say his last name.
Caleb McLaughlin, yeah,
McLaughlin, the kid from Stranger Things. Mind you, they're not kids no more.
And new edition, yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what they're gonna do with this next season because they all look grown.
Yeah, they're
okay.
Grown.
So that one, that was major. We all saw it. Yeah. And when I saw that he was wearing Garçon Couture, my eyes just lit up. Mm-hmm. How did that opportunity come about?
Big shout out to my boy D-League bow tie. He's a designer as well. He was styling him for the GQ Awards and the Emmys, and he was like, Ilbert, would you like to take on this opportunity? You know, and he knows a lot of people, and he was like, you know what? I'm gonna trust you to be able to take on this job. And I was like, I would love to, and I'm gonna knock it out the park. and there we have it. Yes. So thank you, D-League. Always, I could never take that away from him. Like he definitely was the reason why we got recognized at that year. You know.
Yes, that's amazing. And then from there, you said like the phone starts ringing. So now, in addition to dressing, you know, your friends, people that just, you know, come across the brand and understand and identify with it, but you're dressing more high profile celebrities, like they kind of just keep coming in. How is that? Is it like a word of mouth? Like now this person sees this person, or is it somebody calling? How does that process work?
It's from all over. So people are finding us on social media, usually with the tags. When we reached Omari. The stylist contacted us. They was like, Omari is having a video shoot in LA, and we need a lavender suit. We seen that you dress Woody the Great in Esquire magazine, and that guy, he got like a big shout out on that. So the stylist from Omarion's team reached out to us, and we sent that same suit that Woody the Great wore. We sent it to Omarion. He wore it for his video, and he actually displayed it in his video, over 5 million views. You know, so we usually get a lot of emails and calls to that. But I work directly with stylists, which I prefer. I prefer to work with stylists than directly with the celebrity. You know, the stylists are the ones that are actually being able to put these garments on the celebrity. You know, Rotimi, Rotimi was one-on-one type of thing where I spoke with him in person, and I asked him, like, let me put some items on you. But besides that, everything has been through the stylist for the most part.
I believe, am I mistaken? Did you dress the newscaster?
Yeah. The one dances.
46 Nick?
Yeah.
How did he know? He's tapped in. Clearly he's tapped in.
Into the culture. Yeah, he is. My business partner is super famous on IG and TikTok, and he bumped into one of his outfits. And from there, we were like, let's create something for him. And we've done a few things for him already, where he posted and he was dancing, or he was in front of a car. So yeah.
It was so good. I was just like, wow, oh my gosh. Like, you know, so now it's been from when you launched. What year did you launch Garcon Couture?
Launched Black Friday of 2016. Were you at the launch? I missed it. Yeah, Black Friday of 2016. It was a blizzard, but it was a packed house. We were so humble. And you know, you don't know, like a lot of us didn't know what Google is, what Google was, that it would be what it is today, right? And a lot of people were in that room, they were believing in who we were and where we are today. So it's just so humbling. But I'm just here to be like, oh, we knew you were going to be at this level.
Exactly. You know, that's why it's like when I see you on anybody, if it's like in a magazine, I just light up, my heart smiles. So tell us what the design process is like today.
The design process. So we have a tech pack, you know, but a lot of the tech package, for those who don't know, is pretty much a chart where we design the pieces exactly like the specs. We send those specs over to our manufacturers. Within those specs, we put the fabric number on there, the code, we put linings, buttons. We even have like monograms and linings all over, you know, so these specs we send over to our manufacturer. But before that, no one can just come in and start, you know, building a tech pack. We're seasoned stylists, like me, my business partner, and our good stylist for the company is Liddell Young, who's from Trinidad. We actually come in there, we have our skills, and we all design our different way. We have 3 different styles. And when you consult with us, you'll get one of our pieces pretty much styled from us into you. And we put that into the tech pack, and we send over to our manufacturers.
So, okay, because you run the New York office. Gilly's at the Miami office.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Okay, so tell us about, the structure and how you're running.
A lot of people don't know yet, but right now we just opened up a spot in Atlanta, a little mini spot in Atlanta. So my business partner Gilly moved to Atlanta with his family, right? And Liddell he'll be the one running the Miami showroom. So Miami showroom is still open. So we're gonna have Miami by Liddell. We're gonna have Gilly in Atlanta, and then Ilbert will be in New York.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And okay, so I see on the site, it is, like you said, it's a custom. It's not just menswear, by the way, because I saw that pink trench. Yeah. I saw that sold out pink trench. And I'm like, oh, that's
sold out, yeah.
I'm like, that coat is totally me. But okay, so now because everything is custom, for certain pieces, I see some of them are like available on the site to shop, but it still says, it could take a couple of weeks for the shipping. So what's happening? Are you customizing it for each person that makes an order? How does that work if somebody sees something on the site and then they decide like, okay, I want these trousers and this jacket?
So your experience on the website isn't compared to the experience in person, right? Because in person, we're actually measuring you from head to toe. It's about 45 measurements. But on the website, you're actually putting in your measurements, and then that takes a few weeks to make because it's still custom, right? But you're not choosing your lining. You're actually going to go with the line that's automatically on the website, right? But you'll get it at your size. You won't be able to actually get the monogram, these little details that we do in person.
Yeah.
Isn't what you're getting online, but you'll be able to get access to Garçon Couture, even if you're not in like one of the 3 locations that we provide.
Are you guys still like working with people like, do you guys work with people virtually? But how does that work?
So we started to break into the virtual consultant experience through the pandemic, and people were still wanting to prepare for a wedding, right? Because a lot of what we do is weddings. So what's going to happen is if you're not in one of our locations, you'll make your appointment. We'll send you a Zoom link or a Google Hangout link. We consult. I'll show you the fabrics. I'll show you the designs, right? But also, when it comes to the measurements, we usually ask that you'll be with someone else and you have to measure tape. So one of us, we're actually guiding you, on neck, chest, shoulders, biceps, elbows, wrists, calf, inseam, outseam. So we're actually guiding the person, making sure you're getting measured correctly. And with those numbers, we're putting it in our database. So once we get those numbers, we put everything in the tech pack and we send it out, and then you'll get it within 3 to 4 weeks.
There we go. And so what does a normal day for you look like now?
Every single day is different. Every single day is different. And especially being a CEO is you take on so much, right? So recently we're training right now our customer service person. We're training our social media person and our operations person as well. So we're going through processes. But outside of that, if I have appointments from the morning all the way into the afternoon, I'm in the showroom and I'm actually meeting clients one-on-one. Speaking about weddings, birthdays, wardrobe updates, even like prom. We've done over 400 plus weddings across the entire globe. So right now we're like getting ready for the 2022, rush
wedding
of weddings.
Season. Oh yeah, because now all of us that we've been planning weddings and we was on hold, is like it's time. Yeah. So is that stressful for you, like working with grooms and bridezillas who want their husbands to look good and the parties? Like,
I love it. I love it. I actually did Danielle Brooks' engagement shoot, and I put, because you asked about the women's. So when they had the engagement shoot, Danielle and Dennis, so for the engagement shoot, I put her in a long drapey suit, and that went like viral,
Yes.
that went viral as well. But yeah, I love just pretty much being one-on-one with the groom and the wife to be, being able to provide all of the experience that we've had through these 5 years, and it's giving them tips on like not to wear things to wear, being able to have expectations the day of, because men sometimes for weddings get forgotten about, all the things that they have to deal with, and you're not just showing up in a regular suit. Like, you're going to show up in a Garcon Couture suit and it's going to fit you to the T and you're going to feel amazing.
Yes. And so I looked too at the Illy and Gilly collection. So such a cute name.
Yeah.
And it's shoes.
Yeah.
So you guys are doing shoes?
Yeah, so we've been doing shoes for about 3 years now, and 85% of the shoes are sold out now. So let me tell you the story about Illy and Gilly, which I'm Illy, my business partner is Gilly. We realized that a lot of our wedding clients were asking us for shoe companies, where can we get shoes? And we were sending them to all these companies, and I'm like, why don't we make our own shoes? And then not only that, we realized everybody loves to wear red bottoms, and it's like a lot of times we don't know what the red means. Like, what does the red mean? And it isn't gonna impact the African diaspora. So how can we do that? How can we make an impact on that? So we made the bottom of our shoes blue. Blue represents the Caribbean Sea. Haiti is surrounded by the Caribbean Sea. So is Honduras. So is Jamaica. So is all these other countries that's surrounded by the Caribbean Sea that we cater to. And I'm like, the royal blue is gonna definitely make an impact. But also, each shoe tells a story. If you look at each shoe, it has a story about my Garifuna culture, and then the other 4 shoes tells a story about Gilly's Haitian culture.
Yeah, the names are fun. I can't pronounce them, but it's like Spanish and Haitian, like French.
Yeah. Everything tells a story. So we're very intentional about the story that we provide for for not only our clients but also our ancestors.
Ooh, goosebumps. So, let's tap into that. How are your families feeling, and how important is it for you to represent your culture in all your designs?
I think our families they're excited. They want pieces, they have pieces, and we will continue to be able to provide them. But also, I know Gilly has a whole family. He has 2 boys and a wife. But our families are happy, and we're here not only to make them happy, but also it's a legacy thing, and it's bigger than just us. We design because after we're gone, we wanted to continue to grow and continue to tell a story. So Garcon Couture is way bigger than just me and Gilly. And what was your second question?
How important is it for you to represent your culture in your designs?
For me, I always represent my Garifuna culture, right? And because we have so much history and our ancestors, I feel like are vividly here with us. I want to be able to actually, even with the fabric, with the way I speak to my customers, the model is excellence in every thread, and it's bigger than just clothes. We want to be able to, we want you to feel empowered, just as empowered as our family is when they see us. It's all connection. I think I'm big on energy in the room. When each client comes into the room, that energy that's surrounded is extremely important, and we don't take it for granted. So it's pretty much an energy thing for me, at least.
Who are there any designers that inspire you?
I always get that question. But there aren't. I think designers don't inspire me. I think traveling does. Places that I travel to are what has impacted the colors that I put into my styling, right? Into my designs, into my collections. There are a lot of places that I've traveled to, and you look at architecture, and you look at the food, the language, just the beauty of every culture. That's what inspires me the most out of anything.
That's amazing. That's such a powerful answer, because it's true. And I see that. That's what I feel when I look at your clothes. I feel culture. I feel a place, a feeling of, distinguish or sophistication. It's not so much of a complete identity of a person, individual, versus just a feeling. So you've dressed a lot of people, but there's also some people that you haven't dressed yet. Are there any celebrities or people that we would recognize that you want to get in some Garçon Couture?
Yeah, off the back, Jay-Z. Jay-Z is one. Michael B. Jordan. Lena Waithe.
Yes.
Yeah, the dude from Idris, the dude from Snowfall.
Oh yeah, Damson Idris.
Yeah, Damson Idris. Yes. So that's off the top. Where these people who I definitely need to put a suit on. Michael Strahan, Diddy, you know, just people for the culture, you know.
Yeah, exactly. All for the culture. And do you see you guys, like, could you put together like a Met Gala look in the future? You think that's in your wheelhouse?
That's easy. Yeah, that's no. If for us, it's more so like if the opportunity is there, we're gonna knock it out the box. You know, we don't miss, and we definitely have intentions at a high level, you know, at an excellent level.
That's really what it's about. Like you said, we don't miss, and we have intentions at a high level. Intention is key to success.
Yeah. Amen.
So now we're in 2022. It's still the start of it. Are there goals that you're looking to accomplish this year in the near future for the business, for the brand, personally?
Yeah, we want to do more hires, right? We definitely want to do more hires. We want to be able to provide our clients with a higher customer service experience, right? Because we know that our product is amazing, but we also, not only us being present, but we want to make sure that in totality, the entire experience is pleasant for them, because especially like grooms, right? They have so much stress, grooms and brides. We want to be able to, that they know when they walk through Garçon Couture, that they have a seamless experience. One of our clients is telling us, oh, this is such a seamless experience. I want to tell everybody about it. We want to hear that every single time someone leaves our office, you know, and that's the goal for us. And being able to show people that we don't only do, you know, these wow and decorative pieces. We also do, you know, conservative suits. We do pinstripes, suits for like the office. You know, we want to be able to actually show our diversity within any of our marketing tools and techniques that we use to actually brand Garcon Couture today.
Oh yeah, that suit you guys did for the comedian kept on stage.
Oh yeah, yeah. Which one? Which the one?
The one that it has his whole like name and Instagram on the inside.
Yeah. Kevin, he's really one of my favorite customers, because he's just so humble, and even his story has been one of my inspirations currently, knowing for like all of the work him and Melissa, his wife, has done. That's
amazing. Well, I'm a fan of his too. I'm a fan of yours. And you know, you're somebody I know personally, you're my friend. So it's just, I'm so excited. I know that it's still just the early beginning, but it's up and stuck. And I'm just really excited and proud for everything that's coming to you now and everything that's coming to you in the future, because you deserve it.
Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate you reaching out to me. My blessings are to you and all of your growth and where you've been and where you are and where you're going. It's been extremely motivating, and I commend you for all of like your hard work.
Thank you so much, Ilbert. I'm really excited to share your story with the Black Enterprise audience, and just blessings into this new year.
Blessings and God bless.
Thank you. Bye.